All right, today we are covering the ownership or the cost of ownership of a car. In that, the costs are I'm going to break down to four categories: financing, insurance, maintenance, and operating costs. So we're going to get to financing last, but let's start with maintenance. I'm going to start with maintenance because this is essential. When you are using a vehicle, you want to keep it up. So what are some of the costs that you would see when you have a car? You have to make sure that you keep up with these things. So we would need to make sure that our tires are good. We need to make sure that all the fluids in the car are good. So we can look at our oil, our brake fluid, right? Brake fluid is essential for a car that you want to operate well. You want to make sure that you have the ability to brake every time you're in the car. Washer fluid, transmission fluid, what else? Power steering, you want to make sure that you give your car a tune-up, which the tune-up is going to include, okay, your tune-up will include the oil change, also a change of filter, your oil filter, and your spark plugs. So all of these things cost money. And when you operate a vehicle, when you drive a vehicle, you want to make sure that you stay on top of these things because they're going to keep the vehicle running and operating at its optimal level. The better you take care of your car, the better the car will perform for you. It'll save you on fuel economy, and ultimately it'll be a reliable car, which is what you want. A car that's going to help you get to work, get to school, to accomplish all of these things. So here's a long list of expenses you will find when you're looking at maintenance costs, maintenance expenses. Then we have operating expenses. And operating expenses, so let's break down those. So you're going to have your fuel. I'm going to miss some expenses. Fuel has one L, not two. But I'm going to try to capture the bulk of them. So you have fuel, and then also you have, depending on your state and where you reside, you're going to have a city sticker. You're also going to have a state or a plate sticker. So your plate sticker in Illinois is $100. Your city sticker, depending on your city, might be $50. And these you have to renew annually. Fuel in the car, I mean, that could be anywhere between $200 and $400 a month, depending on how much driving you're doing. Parking. So you may have a home with a garage and a driveway. Or if you live in a building, then it comes with a parking space. If your building doesn't have a designated parking space for you, then you're paying to park at home. So you're paying per month for your parking space. If you're downtown, this is certainly what you're doing. If you're going to work, then you're going to pay for parking at work. So you're paying when you're home, you pay when you go to work, and then when you go out to dinner, when you go to a restaurant, then you have to pay for parking when you, just in general, go out. Either you pay a meter or you pay at a parking garage. In addition to these expenses, you're also going to see things like tolls. What else? You're going to have, red light cameras. Red light camera. You're going to have speeding cameras. You might find yourself in a position where you get a parking ticket or a moving violation ticket, which might be a speeding ticket. So all of these things factor in. If you don't have a car, if you're not driving a car, you will not see a toll expense. If you don't have a car, you will not get a red light camera ticket. If you do not have a car, you will not get a parking ticket. But when you have a car, operating expenses are going to fall under these, and there are many different ways for the cost of operating and maintaining a car to escalate. So we've got maintenance, we have operating expense. Let's look at insurance. When you have a car, you have to insure your vehicle. In the state of Illinois, in the great state of Illinois, it is the law. You cannot drive your car if you do not have insurance. And there's two types of insurance. You can get liability insurance, or you can get full coverage. All right, I'm squeezing those letters together. Liability insurance protects, if you're the driver, it protects the other person. So it's not going to protect you. If you hit a vehicle and the accident is your fault, your insurance is going to protect the other driver. So that's the other driver. If you get full cut, and so let me back up. You get into an accident, you injure this person's car, and their car needs repairs, your insurance is going to pay to fix their car. By the way, you've totaled your car, your insurance is not going to pay to repair your car. You are left without coverage. Now, if you have full coverage, well, full coverage protects the other driver and protects you. So when you get insurance, at the bare minimum, you need liability, and this costs less than full coverage. But it very often, it just makes more sense, despite the added cost, to get full coverage. Now, in addition to what your insurance will cover for you, it's going to cover not only repairing the other vehicle that you may have hit in this accident, but it's also going to cover any medical expenses. So if the person, or if you have medical bills as a result of the accident, you twisted your neck or you sprained your neck, I don't know, lower back injuries, whatever the case may be, your full coverage or your liability will cover the other person's medical bills. Full coverage will cover your medical bills and the other person's medical bills. So it's important to do this. Now, is car insurance, vehicle insurance, expensive? Well, it can be, and that's going to depend on you, the driver, and it's going to depend on the vehicle. It's going to depend on where you and the vehicle reside. So I want you to think of insurance as an umbrella. It's protection. And in this case, let's say that you bought a vehicle and your car is worth $50,000. So we're going to label this a $50,000 umbrella. So $50K in here. The benefit of getting car insurance, auto insurance, is that it doesn't cost you dollar for dollar to get this type of coverage. So it's not going to cost you $50,000 to get $50,000 worth of coverage. It's going to cost you, let's say it costs you something like $60 a month. So every month, for as long as you pay your $60 to the insurance company, they've got your back and they're going to protect you. So in the unfortunate event that something were to happen to your vehicle, you're at work, you come outside, you see your car is completely totaled and smashed into pieces, and there's no one else in sight. Your insurance company is going to cut a check to you in order to be able to pay off the car. So let's back up also. So, I mean, this goes into financing, but if you owned the car outright and you had it paid in full, the insurance company will write a check to you so that you can replace the vehicle. But if you had a loan, and let's say that you had a loan to ABC Bank, Okay, so you have a loan to ABC Bank for $50,000. Well, what the insurance policy will do is, as long as you're paying your monthly premium, as long as you pay what you're renting this umbrella, you're renting this protection from the insurance company, they are your car bodyguard. As long as you pay that monthly premium, this check will be cut, and then you'll be able to pay off the loan. Now, why is that important? Well, same scenario. You're at work, you walk outside, and you have a $50,000 loan, a debt to ABC Bank, but now a car that is unserviceable. You cannot drive it. It could barely be towed away, and you still owe the bank $50,000. Because you don't have $50,000 cash to just pay off the car, that's why you got the loan, you get insurance to protect yourself. And the reason we get insurance is to be able to protect and cover things that we cannot replace ourselves. So it would not make sense to get insurance on an $800 laptop or a $600 flat screen TV. Those things, if they were to break down or stop working, you can replace those. You can buy a replacement. But $50,000 is a big ticket item. So we get insurance for the big things that we don't want to pay to replace or can't afford to replace. So this is a steal at $60 a month. Now, depending on the type of car, if it's a sports car, or if it is red, if you're in a highly populated zip code and it is a target for theft, then that's going to take the cost of the monthly premium to protect this vehicle. It's going to take it higher. If you're a younger driver, if you're a teen, if you're 18 or 19, your insurance premiums are going to be more expensive than that of someone that is 30, 40, and 50 years old. Because the idea or the notion is that the younger you are, the more prone you are to be an unsafe driver or to drive faster, or with less experience, you're more prone to be in an accident involved either causing or the accident having occurred to you. For that reason, the insurance company is going to charge a higher premium so they can offset their costs. So insurance is important for that reason. Let's break down how the insurance works. So you're paying a monthly, what's called a monthly premium. So now that we're on insurance, when it comes to insurance, you have a premium. And in the example I gave you, you were paying $60 a month for that umbrella, for that protection, right? You basically had a car cost bodyguard. So you have your premium. You also have what's called a deductible. And then we have what are called claims. Okay. So as long as you're paying your monthly premium, you pay this every month, then the insurance company is going to protect you if something catastrophic were to happen to your car. Even if it's not catastrophic, let's say that somebody sideswipes your car and you get this big scratch on your fender. You get it appraised, you get the work or the repair appraised at an auto store, and they tell you it's going to be $1,500. Well, that's a big chunk. So it's a good thing you have insurance, because now you can submit a claim. A claim is when you're asking your insurance company for money, okay? So you submit a claim to your insurance company, and you let them know, hey, the detail shop says, the repair shop, it says it's going to be $1,500. I need you to cut the garage a check for $1,500 so they can fix my car and get rid of that giant scratch on the fender. The insurance company says, that's fine. You have creditable coverage. You've been paying your premium. Thank you. But remember that your deductible, okay, your deductible is $500. And what that deductible means is that any time you submit a claim, whatever the amount of the claim is, you're going to pay the first $500. So you, okay, that's you. You're going to pay the first $500. Now, why would the insurance company do that? Well, it's to prevent abuse. So let's say that you have your brand new car, you're really excited about it, you're at the gym, you come outside, and you notice a scratch on the hood of your car. And that scratch is that big. You see that? And so while it's not catastrophic on your brand new car, it stands out and you can't walk past your car without seeing it. And that might bother you very much. So you go and you take it to a paint shop, you get it appraised, and they tell you it's going to be, they have to redo the entire hood to remove that scratch. They're going to have to sand it down, primer it, and refinish and recoat it. That's going to be, I don't know, $800. If the insurance company didn't have a deductible, if they didn't require you to pay a deductible, you might say, well, that's fine. I'm going to call my insurance company and have them cut a check for $800 to fix that on the hood of my car. And then the following week, once that scratch is gone, you notice a little nick, a little dent. And it's because you were driving and a rock flipped up on the highway and it nicked the front of your car. Well, that nick is going to be $1,100. Okay? So you get the insurance company to write a check for $1,100, and so on and so on. The reason there's a deductible is to prevent you from submitting claims for any little thing. If it's something major, $25,000 worth of damage, or $80,000 worth of medical bills, and of the person that was hit by your car, and then $25,000 of damage to their vehicle, that's when you want the insurance company to kick in, and you're more than happy to pay the $500 because you're talking about $25,000 in property damage, $80,000 in medical bills. That's $105,000, and all you had to pay out of pocket was the $500 premium, and then your regular monthly, the $500 deductible, and your regular monthly premium. So that's when it's good to have an insurance at your back. But this really, the deductible is designed to prevent abuse. So if you're in a position where you have a nick on your car, or you have a scratch on the paint, and you know it's going to cost you the first $500, you might be inclined to ask the paint shop to try and buff it out or touch it up for $100 versus them doing a $900 or $800 workup, costing the insurance company a big amount and you in the process. So let me give you an example. In this instance, because there's a deductible, if the claim is for $1,500, if this is what it would cost for the repair, the insurance company will pay $1,000, you pay $500. In this instance, if there is a claim of $800, the insurance company is going to pay $300, you're going to pay the first $500. And in this example of $1,100, again, the insurance company is going to insist that you pay the first $500, so they will write a check for $600, and you write the other $500. So you might wonder if you've ever been driving, you've been on the road, and you see a car where the taillight is busted and there's tape over it. Or you can see that a window has plastic or something over it. Some part of the car has been messed up or damaged, and it has yet to be repaired. Now, it might have happened overnight, and they put tape on it to keep the water from getting to it. But sometimes you can see that this car has been damaged, and it's been hit by rain, it's been hit by snow, and now it's starting to rust. This thing happened a while ago, and it still hasn't been fixed. That may be because the driver of the car has insurance, but they don't have the deductible that they'll have to pay in order to have the insurance cover the rest of the costs. So that goes into your budget. Again, owning a vehicle is going to have costs that come through insurance so that you can protect yourself on the big things. It's going to have maintenance expenses. It's going to have operating costs. Now let's look at the financing. So operating is done, maintenance is done, insurance is done. Let's look at financing. So when you want to purchase a vehicle, new or used, if you don't have all of the money cash to put down, you're going to get financing. You're going to get a car loan or an auto loan. Every loan is going to have an APR. And the APR is your annual percentage rate. And this is the rate that you're going to pay on the loan, and it's how you can compare one loan to another. So if one lender is offering you a rate of 10% and another bank is offering you a rate of 12%, well then you're more likely inclined to take the lower interest rate for the cost of your car. Now, when you get a loan for the car, there are going to be terms, and the terms are going to include the APR, so you know which interest rate you're going to pay. Right now, as of today's date, auto loan rates are ranging between 4% and 17%. And that's going to depend on your credit and the vehicle itself. So if it's used, the interest rates are going to skew higher. If it's new, they're going to skew lower. But that's a small factor. The bigger factor is going to be you and what you bring to the table. So your income and your credit worthiness, your credit history are going to determine which rate the finance company is willing to give you. So I ran an example. If you were to buy, if you were to buy a used car for $6,000, and I'll put in a link where you can access a car loan calculator. You plug in the APR, and I'm going to do, let's see, my notes say 10% APR. 10% APR. The length of the loan, 5 years, which is 60 months. And then when you use the calculator, it kicks out your monthly payment. In this instance, your monthly payment comes out to $127 per month. Now that's a really high rate, considering that rates are as low as 4%. So if you're paying $127 a month for 60 months, what you do is you multiply 60 times 127. And what that's going to give you is the ultimate total cost of the loan. In this case, that number is $76.20. Is that right? Yeah. Which means that you borrowed $6,000 from the bank. So we're going to do $6,000. We're going to do the total cost of the loan, which is, again, the number of months times the monthly payment. 60 times 127 equals 76.20. So now we're going to take the total cost of the loan minus the original amount borrowed, which is $6,000. And the difference is the interest you paid on the loan. In this instance, $16.20. Now, that is a big chunk because we're looking at almost about 25% of $6,000 is what, a little more than 25% is what you're paying in interest. So the car, when you bought it, might have been worth $6,000. When you finished paying for the car, you ended up paying $7,620, and it took you 5 years to pay it off. So think of the value of the car that you're buying. If you're buying it for $6,000, and you've heard that once you drive a car off the lot, it instantly loses a big percentage, a big chunk of its value. So if you drive it off the lot and it's no longer worth $6,000, what is it worth 5 years from now? It's not going to go up in value and be worth the $76.20. So you want to be really careful. It's not just about, when you look at financing and you think about getting a car, it's not just about getting a great deal on the purchase price of the car. Just as important is getting a good deal on the financing, okay? On the financing for the loan. So this is how ultimately we calculate. I'll have a link for the calculator, but you're going to put in the purchase price of the car, the APR, the length of the loan, and then that's going to give, the calculator will give you your monthly payment. Multiply the length of the loan by the monthly payment, and that's going to give you the total cost of the loan. Now, a lot of dealerships out there, when you walk onto the lot and you say, I'd like to look at this car, they say, what are you willing to spend? They're not going to ask you about this big number. Do you want to buy a car for $6,000, for $25,000, or $50,000? What they'll say is, what are you comfortable paying per month? And that's a trap, because what they're looking to do is find a number that they can squeeze you into. If you say, I can afford a car of about $130 a month, okay, that has nothing to do with the value of the car. Now they can put you into a car where if they were to put you in a car at $8,000, the monthly payment would be higher. All they have to do is change the length of the loan from 60 months to 72 months, which is 6 years, and that'll bring the payment down. If the car is more expensive, if it's an $8,000 car and you can't afford more than 130, then they'll probably just lengthen the life of the loan. And you don't want that, because the longer the loan is, the more interest you're going to pay, the more expensive it's going to be. And not only is it going to be more expensive, but the value of your car is going to go down as well. So we have covered, let's see, the insurance, financing, maintenance, insurance, maintenance costs, and operating costs. More importantly, how to calculate the total value or the total cost of the loan and how much interest we paid on the loan. Okay? That's it. If you have questions, leave them below.